What's going on, everyone? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another great, epic episode of Just My Opinion Reviews. Oscar edition, baby. Me and my guest right here, we are talking American fiction for the Oscars 2024, the 96th Academy Awards. It is going down Sunday evening, March the 10th. We got 10 films that I'm going to be discussing on my channel, maybe 9 if I have to be honest with you, and American Fiction is one. Me and my guest right here, we're going to spoil this film up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. That is your warning. And like I said, I got my guest right here, my homie, Mr. E-Man with E-Man's Movie Reviews. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, you're part of the family. So of course I had to have you come through. I don't know about your crew over there, your audience. We kind of got the same. We share a little bit, but so many people have been asking me, B, are you going to review American Fiction? Have you seen American Fiction? It's the best of the year. Sterling Kane Brown, Jeffrey Wright, Issa Rae, yada 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 yada. Are you going to review the film? And I was being kind of vague, like, yeah, if I get around to it, even though this whole time I planned on seeing it, and it happened to be nominated for Best Picture amongst 4 other titles as well. We got Best Achievement in Music, written for motion pictures with Laura Cartman. Also, Best Picture with all these names you see right here. Best Performance by an actor in a leading role, Jeffrey Wright. Best Performance by an actor in a supporting role, Sterling K. Brown. And Best Adapted Screenplay by Cord Jefferson. And guys, this is actually his directorial debut. He wrote, direct, and produced the film. So shout out to him. You know, this brother right here is doing big things. And before we get into all that, just real quick, if you love what me and Mr. E-Man has to say, you can follow both of us on social media. Our handles are on the screen. Also, his information will be in the description box of this video. And also help him get to 150,000 subscribers. Okay, this is what his channel looks like. The man has one of the best lives on YouTube for that entertainment news every Friday. You don't want to miss it. It's always a party. It's always going down over here. But let's go ahead and get into this movie real quick, Mr. E-Man, spoiler edition. I was late to the party with this right here. So many people was like, oh man, it's the best of the year. Jeffrey Wright knocked this out of the park. This is a 10 out of 10. And I saw the film, and at the time of this recording, I've seen it twice now. I saw it with my family over Christmas break. The studio was nice enough to send me a screener, so thank you very much. And I also watched it as recently as a few minutes before we hit record on this video right here, because I wanted to be fresh. And I will say, man, sometimes the first time you see a movie, you may miss a few things, and you know your entertainment value can just depend on who you see it with, if you have distractions, etc. The first time I saw this, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I was like, okay, everybody should see this, but it really didn't live up to the hype for me. I was just like, this is a good movie. This is a great movie. I enjoyed the message, and I also not only, I mean, you always have lead roles and supporting roles, but the lead plot was obvious. But I really enjoyed the supporting plot, the supporting story a lot more. But this did not blow me out of the water. I was not blown away. However, after the second time I saw it, which was recently, when I was by myself, focused in my own domain, I enjoyed it much better. Do I feel it deserves to be the winner for Best Picture? I'll say right now, at the very least, a nomination I'm not mad at. Yeah, I think that Oppenheimer is going to come through and sweep everything. But overall, this was a good movie, had a nice message. I love the dynamic within the whole family and all of their relationships between the siblings. That was the best part for me, besides all the all the stereotypes and things that we're going to get into. But I really did enjoy it, man. I'll give my rating for it at the very end. But, you know, how did you feel about this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did it meet your expectations, fall below? Does it deserve all the recognition that it's getting right now, all the Oscar buzz? Let us know, because we actually haven't talked about this.
Yeah. So for me, I had to watch this pretty early because I was, voting, Critics' Choice, AFCA, stuff like that. So I watched it like, months ago, like back in November, December, whatever it was. So I was watching it more so for awards consideration. So I wasn't really watching it to be very critical about it at that point. I was really just watching it to see, okay, let's look at these performances, let's look at this picture, let's just see if this is even awards worthy, right? So when I did see it, and I think I want to say I saw it twice because it's been it was a whirlwind of award season. But when I watched it, I would say that I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know what to expect. I mean, I saw the trailer. I thought it was kind of interesting. I saw that it was Jeffrey Wright. I know the man don't miss with his performances. I had no idea who Cord Jefferson was because that was his first directorial debut. So I kind of went into it with a very open mind, just thinking like, okay, this is interesting. You know, the whole like author who's writing just to appease to a black stereotype and all that. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. But I would say that based off of what was advertised compared to what we saw, I felt like it was not exactly the same thing. So I might have a couple criticisms with that, but outside of that, overall, I enjoyed the film. The film was, I love the originality of it. The performances were solid. And yeah, I do think that it absolutely should be at least nomination worthy when it comes to awards. I think depending on which award we're talking about, one or two might, actually be deserving of winning. But at the very least, I'm happy for the film that it got nominated where it did, because it excelled. It did a really good job for what we would hope many movies would do. But yeah, overall, definitely enjoyed this.
Yeah, man. Pretty much everybody online that I've heard from enjoyed this film, except for one person.
Mm.
I don't want to call them out because, well,
Nah,
they
call
have
them
no
out.
idea
Call
who
them
they
out.
are.
Call
That,
them out. Call
nah,
them
they're not even critics. They're not even.
out. Oh, then whatever.
Yeah, they're they are. I'll give them a better description later on when I can think about it more.
Are they a
But
movie buff?
no, they're not a movie buff. They are.
General audience?
No, they have a following on YouTube, and
Okay.
they're super duper pro black.
Mm.
It's not Tariq Nasheed or
Okay.
I listen to him, but someone of the same caliber who I do respect. I'm not trying to
Mhm.
throw them under the bus
Sure.
and say that their opinion doesn't mean anything. But they do have an interesting take on things, especially when it comes to our culture. And when
Mhm.
I heard their take, I was like, huh, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to dive into this a little bit more when I have time.
Ooh, let's get
But
into it.
yeah, across the board, I got to go back and watch it again because I don't want to misquote anybody. But
Mhm.
they're the only person on the web, as far as people that look like us, that really didn't care for the film. They was very critical of it. But everybody else, man, is making it seem like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And
Mhm.
I'm not mad at that. And one of the things I really did enjoy about this film is, of course, you have let's just say, white people, they like to look at us in a certain way,
Mhm.
with the do-rag on, with the muscle shirt on, with the big chain, speaking a certain way, a certain dialect. They are somewhat threatened by an educated black person that's conscious and knows how to articulate themselves. And that is what this film is about in a hilarious fashion. And Jeffrey Wright's character Monk was making a mockery of it, and I thought that was very, very hilarious. But that was not the best part of the film for me. It was the relationship between the characters. We have a nice cast here. We talked about Jeffrey Wright, Tracy Ellis Ross, Erica Alexander. I
Mhm.
love her in real life. She's
Mhm.
entertaining on screen and off. She's very smart. I follow her on Instagram. Issa Rae, Keith David, Sterling K. Brown, Myra Lucretia Taylor.
Mhm.
Just at the very beginning of the film, seeing, her character Lisa and Thelonious Monk riding in the car, talking back and forth about, their relationships growing up, who she's married to, who she's divorced to now. And, them just kind of joking, having that sibling rivalry, brother and sister back and forth. I don't care who you're fucking. I don't know if you
Mhm.
remember that line exactly, but I really did enjoy that.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, she died early on in the film. And then just seeing Jeffrey Wright's character and Sterling K. Brown, them just talking to each other as brothers, like, hey, you would know more if you would call more, but you are over here in the West in LA. You're a big time writer. I can go down the list scene by scene.
Mhm.
describing all of these characters' interaction. But I loved all of that, especially towards the end, the conversation between Jeffrey Wright and Issa Rae when he was criticizing her book. Like, okay, it was funny. He called his book, his joke, My Pathology, in the way that he spelled it, but then he titled and he named it Fuck, and
Mhm.
just the white people ate it up, you know. But they were in agreement with each other, saying, okay, this is useless gutter trash dialogue. And he asked her, okay, what is the difference between this book here that we're judging and your book, We Lives in the Ghetto? And
Mhm.
it has a standing fixture in the bookstores, and they're kind of going back and forth. And I agree with both of them. You
Mhm.
know, she was coming back with some heaters, you know, countering all of his arguments. And you know, they both had really interesting, compelling things to say.
Mhm.
I really did enjoy that. So that long little, you know, monologue I gave right there is just not the main plot of the film, but I just really enjoyed all the character interactions between everybody. It really did stand out to me. How do you feel about that? You agree or disagree?
So a couple things. You know, first of all, the performances were great all across the board. I was a little disappointed that Tracy Ellis Ross's, role was cut short like that. I was like,
Yeah,
why was she here? Like, we
yeah,
could have gotten any old other extra, maybe a smaller lesser known actress or something. Maybe they could have gave them an opportunity. But because I was like, dang, is she gonna come back in a flashback or something at least?
yeah,
But either way, she was fantastic in the role. And if you tell me Sterling K. Brown and Jeffrey Wright are gonna be doing anything, I already know it's gonna be gold because Sterling K. Brown don't miss. Like, this dude can sit here on screen and automatically make you cry, just cuz,
mhm,
but he was fantastic in his stuff. And in terms of the interactions, I think that comes from just being strong actors, right? And the good writing. Like, you had these characters going back and forth, and just really digging into each other. I mean, just the conversations of like what it meant to take care of their mother as her mother was slipping further and further away, trying to balance one life versus another life, and like adjusting your lifestyles and all. Like, those are real things
yeah,
and real conversations that people have in their families. So the whole time I was watching this, I really stopped believing that I was watching actors performing. I was like, nah, there's some real family
yeah,
drama.
yeah,
There's some real stuff. Like, yeah, there are people that drift away from the family and go do their career and just kind of lose touch. And then when they come back, so I was like, yo, it was the authenticity that really started to grab me. And shout out to Corey Jefferson as a writer. Like, that was a really good way of communicating an authentic experience. So I thought that was solid. Now here's where some of my disappointment came in. Some of my disappointment came in to how this movie was marketed. It was marketed behind, I wouldn't say the gimmick, but the shtick, basically, of this author who doesn't really want to be identified as a black author, but more so for his the merit of his work. Like, he wants to just be seen for his work, but not because he's black. Which, by the way, is a conversation to be had. I mean, I think it was Donald Glover, when he was on the Breakfast Club, had said that, yo, I don't even want to be known as a black actor. I want to be known kind of like how white people are known. Like, they're just known for their position. They're not known as Tom Cruise isn't a white actor. You know what I'm saying? Tarantino is not a white director. They're just directors. They're just actors. So I thought it was very interesting that conversation was there, and that's kind of what was promoted throughout the trailers and the marketing. So, like, when we get to the conversation with Issa Rae, I was only a little disappointed that we didn't go deeper with it.
yeah,
I was like, yo, this is the meat and potatoes, but instead it kind of felt like it was switched off to being the appetizer. We didn't really get deep into which one, I wouldn't say is right or wrong, but like, I wanted more conversation there. I felt like this movie leaned a little bit more into the personal, familial issues, which was fine. but it was kind of like that's also not why I came here. Like I
Yeah.
came here for this black discussion. I came here for this discussion of like being black in America and living under the white gaze. You know, not
Yeah.
GAYS, but GAZE, right? The gaze in terms of what white America perceives us to be and how they believe we should act and what they believe is acceptable for consumption. But you know, how does that contrast with when we give that to them versus when we try to rise above that? You know, and I thought that the film kind of missed the mark in terms of digging deeper into it. Now, towards the end, we do kind of get back on the trail, so to speak. You know, we do get back to it, like when he's actually writing and we find out the big twist and all that. So I did appreciate that. But I thought that sometimes the movie was just going in different directions, and I was just like, man, are we just gonna make this a family drama, or
Yeah.
are we gonna get back to the black stuff?
I
You
feel
know,
you.
like
I feel you.
so it was a mixed bag for me. It was a mixed
Yeah,
bag.
I ain't mad at that. I actually agree with you 100%. It was kind of surface level because right when that conversation was getting heated, the white lady comes in there with her apples and lunch, like, all right, what are we talking about? Then it cuts and goes away. And I'm just like, man, this is exactly, what E-Man is talking about. And so that's unfortunate, but, no shade to you, Director Corey Jefferson. You still did a great job. And even going back to that conversation, you can tell the mindset of Jeffrey Wright's character and Issa Rae's because of their age. Just sometimes depending on what generation you was born in, you're going to be stuck with a certain mindset, and it's just kind of hard to break. Kind of reminds me of The Matrix a little bit, that first one where, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but Issa Rae was starting to call him out like, hey man, you're making a good point, but you care too much about what white people think. I don't care. I'm going to sell. I'm gonna be honest, but I'm gonna give what the market is asking for right now. And his reply was, well, that's the excuse of what drug dealers do. And she was like, well, I think the drug should be free. And I was like, oh, I mean, yeah, legal.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Now correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she say that she knew people that spoke that way and lived that way as well? So it's not like she was coming from an inauthentic place completely.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's just that Monk, he was like this because he said it himself. He was like, he's not saying that all of this is not true. It's just that we're more than that,
right?
And so it was a very interesting conversation, and I think that I don't know. I never talked to the director or saw many interviews, but he was just probably trying to make it more palatable for everybody. And I can't get upset with that, too much, especially with it being his first time around. But if this is what he can do, like in his debut, I'm really, really curious to see what he can do in the future. As far as his writing is concerned, he did a little bit of Watchmen, okay, and I haven't seen any of those other ones. That was fantastic. Another scene that really just stood out to me was he talked about this director when it was towards the beginning of the film, maybe the first act, beginning of the second, where Monk is in his office writing, but the pages literally come to life with Keith David and this other gentleman by the name of, I don't know, I will have to look it up, but that was I can't pronounce this. I'm gonna try my best though. Okiriet Onadoin. He had the do-rag on with the tail out and the patch on. That was hilarious to me.
See, now that right there, that's good directing, right? Like it's good directing because at first I had to sit, I was like, wait, what's happening here? Like, wait, oh, this is not real. Like, and the fact that I wouldn't say break the fourth wall, but I guess they broke the third wall because it was sometimes they would talk to Monk, or Monk would talk to them in a way that I thought was beautifully done. Like that's dope filmmaking right there. That was really, really excellent.
Yeah. So yeah, good job there, director. Really did like that. And also, man, just the positions that you will put yourself in for a loved one. This is not anything that the character Monk would ever do. Just sell out his people. He's gonna want to sell you that top shelf. And I like the metaphor that I guess is his publicist Mentioned to him in the office he had 3 bottles of alcohol from the same company, and he was like, "Do you get the metaphor?" He's like, "No, I don't." He was like, "Look, the red stuff, the black stuff, and the blue stuff. The red stuff is cheap. The black stuff is less cheap, and the blue is good. All your career, you have wrote the blue." You know, but at the end of the day, people are just trying to get drunk, okay? And so
Sometimes you got to get ratchet.
Yes, there you go. You know, do some red, do some blue, and I really did like that. And that's true. You know, I try to do a little bit of these reviews, but then sometime I'll review some.
You
trash,
watch some Tyler Perry, you know it happens.
So I like that right there. That was pretty dope. But you know, he had to sell some red, and he kind of sold his soul a little bit. You know, writing garbage, but at the same time, it was for a good reason. He was trying to pay for his mother's treatment. You know, she was having Alzheimer's and letting the water spill out over the bathtub floor and walking late on the beach, nearly about to drown herself. I mean, there's not too much that I wouldn't do for my mother either. And man, E-Man, that living expenses was high. $6,900 a month.
It's real. It's real. Yeah.
That hurt my heart.
Yeah.
That hurt my heart. But I can definitely, you know, it was just great writing. I can definitely understand the position that he was in. You know, his sister died. She's the one taking care of all the responsibilities as far as the mother is concerned. And they have to figure some things out. So he was kind of forced in this position. And I just think all that flowed naturally. You know, you agree or disagree with all that?
No. That all connected and flowed well. You know, like I said, I was just hoping that what they gave us, they could have given us more. So I'm not trying to be like, oh, this is how the movie should have been. I'm like, nah, this is what you sold us, and this is what you were tapping into. And I was just like, I felt like y'all could have gone deeper with it, you know. But in terms of like what they actually gave us with the family stuff, it was real. And not just the family, but like even the relationship with Coraline, Erica Alexander's character, you know, how she was kind of introduced. I loved how she pushed Monk, you know, like she really challenged him, like even somebody who read, and it was a perfect contrast, right? Like you said, with the different types of liquor, she was a fan of his work. She read his books.
Yeah.
And even she was like, sometimes I got to read a little ratchet stuff.
Right.
You know, so it was kind of like, yo, that was a great way for him to really get an eye opener of kind of like what people outside of himself think and believe and react to. So I did like that kind of balance, you know, through different character experiences and stuff. And I thought that was handled very well.
Yeah, man, that was a really cute couple together. You know what? The first time I watched this too, I thought about you because she had a foot in her mouth when they first met. She dropped the tomatoes. He went over to pick her up. Hey, I didn't know anybody lived here. I thought it was haunted. I thought it was abandoned. Yeah, a while back it was this old man that blew his head off, and she was talking about his father, and that was real awkward. She was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." That was the reason why she invited him into her house, and they had a bottle of wine. Is there just I just want to ask you, because you know I'm putting you on the spot. You're a married man, you know. You know, you live with your family. Was it rude is it disrespectful for her to have invited him into her home, but then her boyfriend, and at first I assumed it was her husband. He just come in.
That's what I thought at first too.
Yeah, is that out of pocket? You know, I was like, I wonder what couples think about this. Like you know,
if they were together.
Yeah, you come home and there's just some man in your kitchen, and you don't know who he is. You know, I wonder how the average man would feel about that. You know,
so okay, so there's a lot of factors with that, right? So for me, I'm gonna talk about just my relationship because everybody don't, you know, listen, y'all relationships is whatever y'all define it to be. But I know for me and my wife, if there is a guest, don't matter what the guest is, who the guest is. Hey, babe, this person gonna be at the house at this time. When you see this car, this is what it is, you know. So, you know, but like that's just for us. That's just out of respect, you know.
I got you.
Now, does she have to do that if one of her little sorority sisters are hit? No,
Right, right, right.
but if there's some random dude in my house,
Yeah.
yeah, give me a heads up. Who is he? Where he live?
Okay.
What's that government name? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I got you. I
and
got
vice
you.
versa. But
Right,
then
right.
again, I don't be inviting random people in my house like
Right,
that.
right, right. It was a lot of factors.
Communication is key.
And
That's all I'm saying. Communication is
I
key.
swear, man, the first time I watched this with my family, I was like, "Hey, man, why would she do that? That's
Yeah.
not cool," and we kind of had a little
She
conversation
probably
about it.
should have mentioned that because it looked like they was chilling for a minute.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's not
yeah.
like,
He said, "You
this
staying for
was
dinner?"
2-3 minutes
Yeah.
after.
Right, 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 right.
Like, oh, by the
Um,
way, I got a roommate.
right,
You
right.
know?
That was she was trolling a little bit.
A little bit.
I want to hear from everybody on that. About these awards, man. There was a lot of jazz music
Mhm.
in the film that I did enjoy. I don't know if it's good enough to win original score, but I did notice it. Sometimes you
Mhm.
don't notice the music in the film, but I did notice the jazz, the saxophones, and the trumpets and things of that nature. You think it has a chance to win Best Picture?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Best performance in a leading role by Jeffrey Wright. He's going up against all of these people right here. You think he has a chance of winning?
I do not. I
Okay.
wish he would.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm like Issa. I root for everybody black,
Right,
but
right.
I also understand the industry. I also understand that um, his colleagues are heavily dominated on the white side. They
Yeah.
just that's just the makeup of the thing. And also, to be honest, like, compared to a lot of the other performances, I don't think Jeffries was that strong, which is
Right.
kind of ironic because he's such a great actor. Like,
Mhm.
this was not a movie that he would stretch himself in, compared to, like, he just played Martin Luther King Jr. in Rustin. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy can do different things, but in this specific movie, I don't think that he would make a great case to win it all. So that's why I'm happy that he was even nominated, because I'm like, great. I want him to be recognized because he is a very talented actor. But given the competition, I don't think he's gonna get it.
I feel you on that. I feel you on that.
I'm here for the upsets, though. I'm here for it.
Okay, okay. Man, no shade to this brother right here. Sterling K. Brown is great.
Yeah.
I enjoy him and everything, but if I have to be honest, I don't know why he was nominated for Best Supporting Role. One scene that did stand out to me was towards the end, where he was talking to his brother Monk, Jeffrey Wright's
Mhm.
character, at the wedding, at Lorraine's wedding, and he gave his brother a kiss on the forehead. That was the best scene in the
Mhm.
film to me, as far as his performance is concerned, but it didn't blow me away.
Mhm.
Where you at on it on his nomination for Best Supporting
I'm
Role?
a Sterling K. Brown fan. I want this guy to win at everything in life. So for me, I'm just happy that he's nominated. Could there have, but I also think that supporting male roles was kind of a thin category in general this year. So the fact that he got the nod, I was very okay with it. But I mean, even he admitted that he knew he wasn't gonna win.
Yeah,
Like, I think it was on the Graham Norton show or something. He was like, "Man, Robert Downey got this," and
gotcha.
that's okay. He was
Yeah,
like, "I'm just happy to be here," and
wow.
and I think that comes from an understanding of how the industry works. He gets it.
This is silly to me.
Mm, which one is that?
Ryan Gosling for Barbie. That's an insult.
It
I'm just
Yes, but at the same time, he did more than Sterling K did in American Fiction. Like, as a supporting character, I think a lot of it has to do with what do you do for the film and what do you do for the main character. And Ken was a driving force for Barbie. He was a perpetual thing. Like, that movie would have been completely different if Ken was never there.
I
Right?
agree
Like,
with
if
that.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if you took him out, it's a completely different thing. And I know I was recently talking about this, but I also look at something like Angela Bassett in Wakanda Forever. She damn near carried that movie as a strong supporting character. You look at Everything Everywhere Always, all at once. Um, you look at Stephanie Shu, strong supporting character. I mean, she was that other factor. Jamie Lee Curtis, the hot dog fingers.
Yeah, that's
I
stupid.
mean, she had like 5 minutes in the whole movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's levels of what your role can be when you're a supporting character. So Ken, I mean, even though the movie was silly, I can't knock the fact that he played a significant role.
I got you. I would. I mean, you make a good argument. I was gonna reply back like, okay, he had more screen time, but than Sterling. But you're right. He did. If he wasn't there, it would have been a completely different movie. So he did help it move forward. Is the actual performance though just down that hill? But last one we have best adapted screenplay. Um, that's American Fiction, Barbie, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. I haven't seen Zone of Interest at the time of this recording. I mean, I'm glad it's nominated, but I don't think it's going to win. Maybe it gets third place here. I don't know. You have any commentary there?
For which one?
Best
For
adapted screenplay.
best adapted? I mean, I think that's where American Fiction probably has a better chance because
Yeah.
it was way more original than a lot of the competition. So I that's what would get my vote. I think that's probably the strongest area this movie has in terms of winning.
I got you. This film we're talking about was actually based on another book by the name of Erasure.
Mhm.
Yeah, this movie is based upon the book Erasure by Percival Everett. I don't. If you've read that book, let us know in the comment section. But 5 nominations is not bad at all, and so congratulations to everybody involved. If I were to rate this out of a 1 out of 10, I give it an 8.5. It was good. It was a great movie. It just didn't blow me away. I can't walk away saying that this was the best of the year or perfect 10 or anything like that. But at the very least, everybody involved should be very, very proud of themselves. What are your final thoughts, E-Man?
Yeah, like I said before, overall, I love the originality with it, love the performances with it. I did think that maybe somewhere in the middle, maybe the second, close to the beginning of the third act, it felt like it was kind of losing itself a little bit. But then by the time you get to the very end, I really like the ending. The ending is what really saved everything for me and just it stuck the landing for me. So yeah, overall definitely enjoyed it. But I would say if I had to give it a rating, probably an 8. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
Definitely recommend it for people to watch. But it was cool. It was a really fun, entertaining movie.
Right on, right on, right on. Well, E-Man, thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to wrap it up for me and E-Man's recap review for the Oscar-nominated film American Fiction. Check it out on streaming. Check it out in theaters if it's going to be re-released. Check it out when they talk about it during the Oscars. And just to let you guys know, the Oscars, as you can see on the screen, is a live Sunday evening, March the 10th. But I will be going live on my channel the next day, Monday, March the 11th at 6:30 p.m. CST live to recap everything, all the winners, all the losses, talk about everything. And of course, E-Man, you're welcome to come to that if you like, if you got the bandwidth. And so subscribe to the channel. Come join us during the after party. E-Man, what do you have going on your lovely channel you want to promote to all the good people out there?
Man, every Friday, come on out for the live chat. That's the time where we get to relax and go through all the news from the week, talk about all the things that you might have missed out on, and then I give you my fun little take on it as well. So 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, Friday, go ahead, subscribe, so you could be part of one of the livest chats on all of YouTube.
Yeah, man. Look at those thumbnails, man. Them things are fire. Like, my goodness gracious. But
Appreciate it.
yeah, man. Yeah, good stuff over there. Also, guys, check out my channel too. I'm just about 150 away from 50,000. So help me reach that milestone. If you're watching Shogun, I got my full review for the season on spoilers, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. And shortly after this, no, episode 4 won't be out yet. But tune in for that. Also got other reviews coming up on the channel. I got our Oppenheimer review, Anatomy of a Fall, Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon. Oh, that's the wrong killer. It's Killers of the Flower Moon, and also Past Lives. And by the time you see this, I'll have a few other Oscar-nominated films up on the channel as well. But guys, again, me and E-Man want to thank you for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's E-Man, and that's just our opinion. Peace out, and we'll see you next time.